Hey, are you even listening to me? We're talking about our daughter's career path for her senior year at high school, but my husband is just looking at his phone. I'm talking about something important to you.
Shut up. If she wants to go to a college, then she has to pay for it herself. I don't have money to give to a stupid daughter who can't take care of her own grandmother.
Huh? What the hell does he mean? I looked at my husband's phone and saw something outrageous on the screen. My husband, Dave, and I have been married for 18 years. Our only daughter, Anna, is a sophomore in high school. I ate very well. Good, but make sure to clean up after your plates. Okay.
Hey, aren't the exams coming up soon?
Yeah, that's why I'm studying now. You should also start thinking about what path you want to take in the future. I know. It was that time of year I get concerned about Anna's future career path, but I'm relieved that she's growing up well. Like this, the three of us were getting along well and living a peaceful life together. But there's one thing that worries me a little. And that's my mother-in-law, Judy. My mother passed away soon after I got married. At the funeral, Judy said and did something inappropriate.
Mom.
You're my son's wife now, so don't cry over something like this. Huh? The reason she died so early was because her bad behaviors on daily basis, right? She'd say very insensitive stuff at me, who was crying at the time, and she also made fun of my mother.
What are you talking about? That's inappropriate. If you're going to talk like that, then get out.
What? My husband, Dave, was furious with Judy, while I was too stunned to speak back. Since then, I haven't had any contact with Dave's side of the family and haven't seen my parents-in-law. Judy's attitude was horrible, but I feel like my anger faded over time. It's not like we have completely cut ties, and I wonder if it's okay for us to continue not interacting with them. They are grandparents to my daughter after all. That's what I think about sometimes. And then, I received the news that my father-in-law had passed away. Since he was my husband's father, we attended the funeral. Honey. Judy was in tears at the funeral. Judy, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, looked weaker and smaller. I guess she's grieving from the bottom of her heart over the loss of her loved one. Few days later, Dave was staying at the parents-in-law's house for the funeral and inheritance procedures. When he returned home after his short stay at his parents' house, he proposed to move in with Judy to me.
My mother is the only one living in their house now, and she seems to be very depressed.
I see. I pictured Judy crying alone. With my father-in-law gone, she must be feeling very lonely. I can understand why Dave was worried for Judy.
I was thinking that we could move in with her. Please?
Yeah, okay. I agreed to live with Judy in the end. So, we moved into my parents-in-law's house. But, once we started to live together, I look forward to living with you, Judy. You haven't done anything great as a wife until now, so you should work hard to make up for it. What? Now make me a tea quickly. Can't you see me being depressed here? You should be more considerate. How dare Judy take it out on me? I decided to move in with Judy because I thought she was lonely, but what is with her attitude? And Dave and I both work, but he leaves all the house chores to me. Hey, is dinner ready yet? I just got home from work. You're such a bad wife, ignoring what you need to do in the house when you're a wife. I'm really disappointed in you. Ugh. Why does she always complain about me so much? And now, Judy began to blame Anna too. Hey, please go fold the laundry. But I'm studying right now. What a charmless girl you are, just like your own mother. What? You can't even obey to your elders. Girls are supposed to help around the house instead of studying. Huh? You're really annoying. Anna was at her adolescence, so she became rebellious towards Judy. Studying is useless. Doing the house chores are much more useful. You're freaking annoying. My goodness, she's such a useless child, isn't she? The relationship between Judy and Anna was getting worse. It came to the point where I was regretting why we were living with her and wondered why I had agreed to live with her. Dave, on the other hand, was gradually being brainwashed by Judy.
I'm home.
Welcome home, honey. Come on, let's get your bag and jacket over here. You should sit and relax here.
Oh, thanks.
It's actually the wife's job to serve her own husband. I'd like to teach Clara all the things I would do as a wife, but it's hard to even do that when she's not motivated about it and doesn't take me serious.
Really?
When Judy lies and cries, Dave defends her and doesn't listen to what Anna and I had to say. Clara and Anna is always harassing me. Please do something about it, sweetie.
You're disgusting, harassing my own mother.
I've never harassed her, ever. She always crumples up my laundry, and it's just terrible what she does to me. I've never done that before. Rather, she's the one who complains and harasses me all the time.
How dare you talk like that? You're not being a good wife at all.
No, grandmother's lying, and all you do is take her side.
Stop butting in. It's all thanks to me that you can live your life like right now. You do know that, right?
Believing in Judy's lies, Dave began to swear at me and our daughter. While this frequently happened, Anna became a senior in high school. And on the day of a parent-teacher conference at our daughter's school, I attended every parent-teacher conferences and I always told Dave about it. And this time again, we were talking in the living room after dinner, but Anna is thinking about going to college too. Yeah, I narrowed it down to a few places that have the department of my choice. Her teacher said that if it's this college that she wants to go to... Hey, are you even listening to me? Dave wasn't saying anything and was just looking at his phone. He didn't seem like he was listening to me, and he didn't even look interested, which was the same as how he was last year. I'm talking about something important to you.
Shut up. If she wants to go to a college, then she has to pay it for herself. I don't have money to give to a stupid daughter who can't take care of her own grandmother.
Huh? I rolled my eyes at Dave, who said this in an annoyed tone. What on earth is he even saying? Huh? What do you mean, stupid? I don't have any money of my own, and you're being so irresponsible, Dad.
You have some nerve to only depend on me when you need money. You have a thick skin just like your mother. I wonder how your mother educated you like that.
What? When my daughter argued back to Dave, he got really angry. Then, Judy interrupted and joined Dave to argue back. If the mother is not good enough, then the daughter will not be good enough either. A daughter who doesn't know her place and gets cocky doesn't deserve to have anything paid for her.
That's right. Why should I pay money for a selfish, stupid daughter?
How dare he says that Anna was selfish. We have been saving for our daughter's college fee, and it's not like we didn't have any money. I couldn't take it anymore that Dave and Judy would say something like that just because they didn't like us. If you're going to be this annoying about money, then fine. I'm getting a divorce. I was so frustrated that I declared for a divorce.
There is no way you can afford Anna's college fee on your own, you idiot!
Dave scoffs at me as he says that.
If you want a divorce, do whatever you want. I don't want a useless wife who can't take care of her own husband's family, and I don't want a stupid daughter who is educated by such idiot wife. The savings for the family that you and I had together will be used for my family, mainly my mother, so don't you dare count on it.
Oh, I see. Well, I hope that we live in a world where your arrogance is tolerated. Dave yells at me as he looks down on me, and I laugh back at him without flinching. Don't you worry about the money, just follow me, Anna. I turned to my daughter and gently told her. My daughter, puzzled by the sudden turn of events, remained silent.
You're going to go to your father and cry to him, aren't you? He should be so annoyed by you to be depending on him at your own age. Well, I guess it can't be helped since he's the one who raised you to be his idiot daughter.
You get angry when people speak horribly of your own family, but you speak horribly of other people's families. You're so contradicting. My daughter seemed to realize something when she heard that. Let's go now, Anna. Yeah, I'll follow you, Mom. So Anna and I left my parents-in-law's house. For the time being, we decided to stay at my parents' house. A few days later, I asked my lawyer to proceed with the divorce. I sent a letter of contents certified notice to Dave. A few days later, my husband came over to my parents' house. What are you doing here?
I'm sorry. I sincerely apologize. I don't want a divorce. Please come home.
When I answered the door, he apologized instantly. My husband hangs on to me with a stupid look on his face. Actually, I had noticed that the savings we had made together as a couple were decreasing. When I requested for a background check to the credit card agency, I found out that Dave was spending money to a hostess in a club. He was secretly preparing for divorce. And apparently, Dave was known to be one of the customers that club hostesses didn't want to get involved in.
I'm going to divorce my wife, so marry me.
Huh? What are you even saying?
I truly love you, and I can make you happy.
I'm not really looking for that. After I declared for a divorce, he proposed to a club hostess that he has been crazy about. When the proposal was rejected, Dave was unsatisfied and he was finally banned from the club because he kept on pursuing her. His contact information was also blocked by her. Still not ready to give up, he waited for the club hostess near the club.
I'm serious. Please, just listen to me.
I have to go to work now.
Please, I need to talk to you.
I'm in a hurry. When he tries to talk to her directly, she coldly rejects him. After being seen multiple times by Dave's colleagues, he was shunned within his company. When his boss found out about his nightlife activities, he was called in for questioning. I heard that you've been stalking a club hostess into the club. I'm not too impressed with that kind of behavior.
I'm serious about our relationship, and I'm thinking about marrying her. I really love her.
I understand your feelings, but I'm not sure if she has the same intention as you.
If I get to talk to her properly, then she will understand.
Well, to begin with, I thought that you had a wife and a daughter.
My wife and I are divorcing. Both my wife and my daughter are annoying and have the nerve to say things about going to a college. The hostess from the club is a much better woman than my selfish wife and my daughter.
What? Now, wait a minute. Dave explained to his boss about the details of the events leading up to the divorce and was astonished at Dave's shallow arguments. What the hell are you thinking? As a husband, you ought to consider your own wife's position.
No, but my mother...
Did you even listen to your wife properly? You only listen to what your mother has to say, but if you're the husband, you should listen to what the wife has to say too. Besides, you don't take your daughter's college talk seriously, but you're into another woman. How dare you think that what you're doing is good enough as a father? You better cool your head.
Yes, sir.
Dave was shaken up when his boss confronted him in a stern tone. Then, Dave was demoted and given a pay cut by his boss. I sent him a letter of content certified notice demanding a divorce and custody of Anna. And I demanded a division of property and the money he had spent on the club for alimony.
I'm really sorry. I was wrong. Let's start over.
Even if we don't get divorced, you still have to pay for the money you spent behind my back, though.
What?
I lightly point out about money, and Dave is surprised. I knew that he just didn't want to pay. He doesn't genuinely want us to come back, does he? I sigh in disgust. You leave all the house chores, looking after Anna, and taking care of your own mother to me. I can never get back together with a scum like you who decides the future of Anna and I just because you were my husband and tries to live a happy life when you're only playing around with young, cute girls. I refused to get back together with him once and for all. Then, my daughter showed up from the back of the house.
Anna, I'm really sorry. I'll be a good father to you, so let's start over.
When Dave noticed Anna, he clung on to her. But Anna glared at Dave coldly. Do you have any idea what I've been going through these past few months? If you think that you can be forgiven with just one such light apology, you're being stupid, and just because I'm only in high school, you look down on me too much. A father who takes away his own daughter's future options, but plays around and pays to other young women is just too creepy and gross for me. Dave couldn't hide his shock at Anna's complete rejection towards him. He slumped his shoulders and left. Then soon after, my husband was completely depressed. I can't stand middle-aged men who can't tell the difference between reality and fun. He was also rejected from the hostess at the club. Eventually, Dave gave up trying to get back with me and finally proceeded to pay the fees I had claimed him. The money he spent on the club and the alimony was covered by the money from my ex-father-in-law's inheritance, but that wasn't enough, so the rest was paid in installments. The monthly alimony and child support payments are difficult for Dave, who had a pay cut at work. After the divorce, Judy visited me once at my parents' house. You have made my life difficult. I forgive you, so you should forgive my son too and come back home. Judy blamed me at the front door and screamed at me. I'm so fed up with my selfish mother-in-law who is always looking down on me. I called Dave and he rushed over to pick Judy up.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm telling your stubborn wife to get her act together. I'm not his wife anymore. I have a record of what you've been saying to me when we lived together, so I can file a claim for alimony if that's what you want. Are you even listening to what you're saying to me?
Huh? How dare you talk to me like that?
Judy got angry at me as I spoke calmly, but...
That's enough! You're putting me in a bad position, Mother.
Dave lost his temper to his own mother. Dave got so angry that he put Judy in an institution. With the alimony and child support payments and the payment for the facility, my ex-husband's life has become quite tight.
Another tough month.
He has to do all the house chores by himself, and he's living a lonely life on his own now. My daughter and I are spending peaceful days at my parents' house. She's doing her best to pass the entrance exam for college, despite everything that had happened. Here you go, your dinner. Why don't you take a break?
Thanks, I was actually just getting a little hungry now. I'll eat now.
You're working hard, but don't push yourself too much.
I'm my mother's daughter, and you don't have any good luck with men, so I'm going to do my very best and become an independent woman who can live on her own without depending on a man.
Oh, I see. I laughed at her jokingly. But if my daughter is working hard to follow the path she has chosen, I'll do my best to support her. And I want her to be truly happy, more than anything else. My name is Laura, and I'm 25 years old. After I graduated from my junior college, I got a job at the department store where I work now. I met my husband Adam at that department store. At the time I started working there, Adam was working at the head office and he was the trainer for the new staff. My first impression of him was that he was quite serious and a strict person. He always kept a very strict eye on the new staffs, and whenever Adam passed by in front of me, I always felt nervous around him. However, when it came to work, he was indeed very good at his work at the head office, and his instructions regarding work were perfect. He was really good at teaching about the work, and I learned a lot from him. I thought he was someone I could rely on as a boss, even though we didn't seem to get along in private. So, I had no idea at the time that we would end up getting married. One day, I made a big mistake at work. I made a small mistake which resulted into a huge loss for the company. At the time, I was only 20 years old and did not have the mental capacity to endure the huge failure, and I thought the only way I could take responsibility was to quit the company. And then Adam, who was my boss, came to the rescue. Adam came over to my house, where I had taken a few days off from work due to the depression, and encouraged me on my doorstep.
You're still a new staff here, and it's only normal to worry about it. But what do you think a trainer like me is there for? It's to help you grow up and do your job freely. A person who doesn't fail at all can't be strong and can't grow. I'll take the responsibility for you, so don't be depressed forever. Show your energy again and do your job with dignity.
I broke down and cried nonstop. Thanks to these words from Adam, I was able to return to work. From then on, Adam went from being just my boss to someone who I admired. I worked very hard to learn my job and to earn his recognition as soon as possible. Seeing me like that, he praised me in front of everyone, which motivated me even more. In about 2 years, I quickly became the ace of the department store where I worked. From then on, I spent more and more time working alone with Adam, exchanging opinions about the sales floor, and we gradually grew closer to each other. Then one day, he confessed his feelings for me, and we started to go out with each other. After 3 years of dating, he proposed to me and we got married. I never thought that after 5 years I would marry Adam. You never know how life will turn out. After we got married, we bought our own home with a mortgage loan. I think it was because we both worked for a major department store that we were able to get approved for the mortgage loan and purchase the house. We were thrilled with our new home and were always happy. After we were married, we continued to work for the same company, and everyone at work told us we were the perfect couple and even got jealous about it. We were, of course, happy to hear about what people had said about us. But because of this, we also didn't want to be a bad example. So, we put more effort into our work than ever before and produced good results. Then, late last year, I finally got pregnant. I enjoyed my married life with Adam, whom I love very much, but I was even happier to think that we were going to add a new family member to our family, and I felt like I was at the peak of my happiness. But there was just one problem. It was about my job. At the time, I had already been working at the department store for 5 years, and my work performance had been very good, so I had been given the job of a store manager. Since I was in a very important position at work, I wondered if it was okay for me to quit my job and concentrate on giving birth. I was worried that I was being too selfish. But my morning sickness was already getting worse, and the time limit was approaching. I discussed the matter with Adam, and as a result, we decided that it was best for me to quit work. While I felt sorry for the company, Adam would say,
I will support the company and work enough for you too. I'll make more money and you don't have to worry about anything. Just concentrate on your pregnancy.
and encouraged me like he had done before when I made the huge mistake previously. His words again lifted a weight off my shoulders, and I was able to concentrate on our soon-to-be child. Shortly thereafter, I was hospitalized. Normally, I wouldn't have needed to be hospitalized, but my early pregnancy symptoms were so severe that the doctors decided to keep me under their eyes, just in case. I spent a lot of time alone in the hospital, which was a bit lonely, but Adam came to check on me every day despite his busy schedule, which gave me a peace of mind. Then, after about 3 months in the hospital, I was able to come home. Adam, who took the trouble to get paid leave for the day, drove to pick me up, and I returned home for the first time in a long time. My home felt somewhat fresh after my long absence, but at the same time, it felt strange. I thought something was different, and after looking around the house for a while, I noticed something. For some reason, all of my personal belongings that had been in the living room had been moved to my room. I questioned Adam about it, but he only replied vaguely, as if he was uncomfortable with the situation. As I was wondering why he had that reaction, the doorbell suddenly rang. Who could it be at a time like this? As I opened the door, I saw my mother-in-law, Christine. I wondered why she was here at a time like this. I had just gotten out of the hospital, and I wanted to spend at least one day alone with Adam. But I couldn't just turn her away. After I opened the front door, Christine took off her shoes and went into the living room as if it was her own house, without even greeting me. Then, Christine finally notices me as she saw me coming back from the front door and said,
"Oh, what are you doing out of the hospital? I didn't hear that you came back."
"Oh, I'm sorry, Christine. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to inform you. I was discharged from the hospital." Christine gave me a bored look and said,
You could have stayed in the hospital longer.
And began to relax in the living room. I got closer to Adam and asked, "What is she doing here?" Adam didn't seem to understand why I was being confused and simply replied,
Oh, my mother has been coming home a lot lately.
For my part, I wanted to ask him why Christine was coming over and relaxing as if it was her house. I decided to ask Christine directly because Adam was too thick. Christine, I just got out of the hospital, so I'd like to spend at least today with Adam.
Excuse me? I just came here and you want me to leave now? You talk as if this is your own home.
I was a little irritated because that's right. It's my house, and it's Adam and I's house that we both bought together. Christine must have seen me frown for a moment because she began to say,
What's with that look? This is your house, but it's also our house as well. Do you know that?
What do you mean?
Ugh, how can you be so ignorant? It was purchased by my son, who is in my family, which means it's ours too. Now, do you understand?
What she was implying was nonsense that I wanted to butt in and say that I didn't know what she was talking about for a minute. But when I tried to argue back, my husband interrupted and said,
Don't complain to my mother too much. She's the one who took care of everything around the house while you were in the hospital.
And began to put the blame on me. I finally decided not to say anything back to him, even though I wasn't really happy with what they said. I didn't want to get sick again and be readmitted to the hospital after having been discharged, and I thought it was true that Christine was indeed supporting Adam while I was gone. However, every day after that, Christine came to our house to do chores. I didn't like it, but I decided not to say anything because by the time I was in my last month of pregnancy, I would be hospitalized again and would have to leave the housework to Christine. It was quite stressful to have her visit so often, but finally, at the beginning of my last month, I was free from this life. One day, when I was preparing for hospitalization, Christine arrived home earlier than usual. I opened the front door to find a surprising sight. I saw Christine, and behind her was a car full of luggages. What are all these luggages for, Christine? Christine replied in a tiresome manner and said,
Of course, it's our luggages to move in here.
I immediately ran to Adam in the living room and said, What is the meaning of this? I didn't hear anything about it. And asked him in a strong tone of voice.
Oh, well, that's just the way it is. My mom and the family are moving in here.
Huh? How come I didn't hear anything about this until now? I mean, did you just say your mom and the family? Please don't tell me that there's someone else moving in. Then Christine butts into the conversation.
My eldest daughter's family of 3 and I are all moving in here and living together. It's already decided, so don't make a hassle about it.
My husband agreed with Christine and strictly tells me,
That's the way it is, so don't disobey my mother.
But there was no way I could be convinced by that. Trembling, I asked Adam, Why did you decide such an important matter all on your own? Once again, Christine intervened and said,
I told you the other day. It's our son's house and it's also our family's house.
And shouted at me. At this point, I was getting very irritated and said, Please be quiet, Christine. I am asking my husband. Christine probably didn't think I was going to talk back to her, so she became silent for a while. And I took the opportunity to talk to my husband. What do you think you're doing for all of them to move in with us? We're even going to have a baby next month. You said this house is for us to live happily as a family, didn't you? My husband's response to my question was unbelievable.
What's wrong with them moving in? My mother and sister are my family. There should be no problem living together here. There's more people, and it's rather lively and fun, isn't it?
You are the only one to think that it's fun because you're related by blood with your mother and sister. But for me, I'm not related by blood with them, and it's like 4 strangers suddenly came to my house all at once. How am I supposed to think that this is fun?
Oh my god, shut up! This is my house. What's so wrong of me to have my own family over to my house?
I can't believe that you're saying this. Remember, you and I bought this place together, you know? You can't be the only one to decide about these things. In the end, time passed with neither of us giving in. I was aware that Adam was family-oriented, but this was beyond what I had expected. This was the first time I realized that Adam was a mama's boy to an unbelievable degree. If he was like this even before our child was born, I lost all confidence in my ability to go on being married to him as a family. I made up my mind right then and there and said this to Adam. All right. If you want to live with your mother and your sister and her family, I won't say anything more about it. But in return, I'll leave. With that, I went out and hurried to the town office to pick up the divorce papers. I returned home, stood in front of Adam once again, and confronted him with the divorce papers. I can't do this with you anymore. Let's get a divorce. Adam was surprised that I requested for a divorce since he didn't expect that out from me. He stood frozen in front of the divorce papers for a few seconds, and then, as if in a flash of realization, he opened his mouth and said this.
What are you going to do when we get divorced? How are you going to support your child if you don't even have a job?
Adam looked at me with a smug look on his face as if he had said something satisfying for him. His smug face looked just like Christine's, which made me even more angry. Just sign the divorce papers. My husband snickered at my anger and signed the divorce papers.
Are you sure? Now we're in a position to get a divorce, but it's you who's going to be in big trouble, right?
Great, he finally signed it. Now, it's my turn to fight back from here. Hey, aren't you forgetting something important? My father runs an apartment rental business.
Oh!
That means I don't have to worry about getting a place to live. Plus, I'll get child support from you. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you and your family are going to continue to live in this house, you have to pay me half of the value of this house.
What?
My husband seemed to finally realize the situation he was in. His face turned pale as he looked at me. Well, I guess we won't ever see each other again, but take care. I'll be contacting you through my lawyer from now on. Adam was in shock that he slumped down on the spot. Christine, who was listening to our conversation, must have understood that Adam had to pay a large sum of money. She stood frozen with a moving package in each hand. I ignored them both and left the house. After that, it was just a matter of time. We went through the divorce with property division and so on. My father let me live in one of his spare rooms, a slightly nicer, more expensive one, for the sake of his own child and his grandchild. And And thanks to the money I got from the divorce, I didn't have to work after the baby was born, which allowed me to spend plenty of time with my child. The baby was so sweet, and I enjoyed being with him every day. By the way, about Adam, I heard an interesting story from a colleague from my department store days. I heard that Adam has been living in that house with Christine and his sister and her family since then, but supposedly his sister's children are noisy, Christine and his sister are spending the money away, and they are running out of money, which causes constant stress to him, and he is also exhausted at work and is pretty depressed all the time. As a result, he started making a lot of mistakes at work and was finally labeled as a useless person and sent to a department where there was little work to be done. Furthermore, the salary at the new department is lower than the old one, making his life even more difficult and causing him to suffer mentally. This is what he deserves. On the other hand, after 2 years of spending plenty of time with my child, I was able to get a job at another major department store because of my skills from the previous work experience. The pay is about the same as my old job, but I can finish work earlier in the evening so I can drop off and pick up my child without any problems. I am now working hard and doing my best to raise my loving child. I would like to praise myself for deciding to divorce my ex-husband at that time because I decided that I could raise my child on my own without him. Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.